Just give it a couple seconds. All right. All right, I think that's it. So, hello everybody. This is Greg from OHW Company. I'm here with a webinar presentation. Thank you guys all for joining in. Today we're going to go over how to build a marketing plan that actually works, how to put strategy first over tactics, and exactly the difference between the two and how that will impact not only your business, but your overall mindset of entrepreneurship in general. So let's get started. The money pit. Many businesses waste money on ads, social media, or SEO and see little to no results. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or confused about which channel to use with so much conflicting advice out there. Jumping into tactics without a clear strategy is like throwing darts in the dark. You might get lucky, but most of the time, you probably will miss your target. I see this a lot in the landscape. Everyone's so, shiny object syndrome. They want TikTok, they want LinkedIn, they want Facebook ads, they want to do guerrilla marketing with flyers. However, you can have these tactics, which isn't a bad thing initially, but without clear overall strategy, you're going to be wasting a lot of your money. It's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour in, no matter how much money, it doesn't fill up the bucket due to the fact that this isn't necessarily the right way to use said tactic. So you have a clock and a wallet problem here. Time and budget are always limited, which means every move counts, right? So without a clear plan, every tactic you try will eat up your resources without giving you much back. When you try to be for everyone, you end up being for no one. Clarity and focus wins every single time. So just to kind of reiterate that a little bit, there's only so much of everything. Things are very finite in this life. So without a strategy, every tactic you try is going to either help you or hurt you. But without the actual strategy behind it, you will end up always losing out. So yeah, I don't care how big your budget is. You can have $1 million, but without the right strategy and you're just using $1 million for the wrong thing, you'll end up wasting your time and your money. So these are two things you have to be mindful of at all times in business, especially regarding your marketing and getting new customers through the door. Why tactics alone don't work. So tactics are like tools in a toolbox. Facebook ads, events, SEO, email, they're all very powerful when they're used the right way. So the marketing strategy is the blueprint or the game plan that tells you which tools to pick up, how to use them, and in which order. When you grab tools at a random without a plan, you waste time and your money. It's like hammering nails into the wrong wall. So we don't want to do this. This is just about understanding that all these tactics, they're just tools, and all these tools require the right strategy. And without the blueprint or the strategy, you're going to end up wasting things, making things harder on yourself, or even causing more issues in your business without even knowing it. This is why having a strategy is important, guys. Why this matters now, markets are more crowded than ever, makes it harder to stand out. Ad costs and marketing costs are rising. Every dollar needs to be used wisely. And audiences have shorter attention spans, meaning that you only have a few seconds to capture interest and to keep customers from leaving to your competitors. So everything is crowded because everyone does everything. You're not the only person doing what you're doing. And with the way things are, you do need to stand out and have your own lane. And the way to do that is to have the right marketing strategy behind you. If you don't have a clear lane, you'll be stuck in traffic. You'll be another naysayer. Without that branding strategy and marketing strategy, you'll also just be easily forgotten about in general. And we don't want that for your business. We want to be memorable. We want people to know exactly how your product or services help them. So like I've pretty much been saying before, what we'll cover today is a marketing strategy. This is a big picture plan that guides you through everything. You could start choosing the right audience and the right niche and making sure your message connects with the right people on the right platform. You then pick the tactics that actually support your strategy instead of just chasing every trend. You finally be able to track your results, and your efforts from your marketing will start to pay off in a long way. So you have to look at your marketing strategy as a GPS, right? Without an actual guide to get to a place or a route necessarily, you won't be getting your destination. So if you wanted to go to the store, there's a, Google Maps or Apple Maps will show you a route to get there, right? And which, vehicle would you like to get into? Would you walk, ride a bicycle? These things vary, and depending on your circumstance, you have to pick what fits for you in that moment. So I might want to take a walk to the park down the street. However, driving across town to go downtown to a museum might require a whole different approach. I'm not trying to walk all the way downtown to the museum. I'd rather take a car or Uber, or maybe even do a train if I wanted to have an adventurous day. So it's just similar things to that. Like, even if you have the destination in mind, you still want to be able to tailor the situation to where you are getting to where you want to go the right way. So about me, Greg Evans, like I said before, I've been running paid ads on Google, Meta, TikTok, and many other various platforms for a long time. I have experience with other things like CTV, digital out of home, multi-channel marketing strategies. I've been helping businesses scale with data-driven, result-focused campaigns for a while now. I've done a lot of consulting, a lot of campaign setup, a lot of full service pay-per-click management, a lot of overall marketing strategies for clients as well. That's ranging from B2B to e-commerce to fashion, all over the place. So I've had my experience with all type of industries, and there are certain things that are always true and common here. And that is having a marketing strategy. So what is a marketing strategy, right? A marketing strategy ensures the right message reaches the right people at the right time. Every product or service needs its own tailored strategy to perform its best. And without a clear strategy, tactics can work against each other and often mess with your results a little bit. So a strategy is like a game plan in sports, and the tactics are the plays that you run with it, if that makes any sense. And every product and every business has its own version of doing that. Without an actual strategy, your tactics can go against each other. So for instance, you can have an ad running on Facebook, but if you don't have the right you don't have the right follow-up on your email when people sign up on your Facebook ads and they go to your lead generation funnel and they sign up for a freebie or whatever, and your email doesn't necessarily correlate with that lead, you're going to have a bad problem compared to having a Facebook ad that sends traffic to a lead, like a free ebook, and then having the emails in that ebook talk about the ebook more and be able to have them correlate. So you want things to work together, and that's why the strategy is super important. More isn't always better. This is not a lot of marketers are talking about this. This is what they don't tell you. A lot of guys in the industry and gals don't tell you that just shouting louder in a noisy room won't make people notice you. Posting every day doesn't automatically turn into sales and growth. Only a clear and well thought out plan creates scalable, predictable results. So you have to just be able to understand too that it's not just about, well, guess what? I'm on the same Instagram trend that everyone else is doing. Let me go and do that too. I'm posting every single day. I'm not getting results. Well, because everyone else says it, let me do that too. Well, this is the thing. You can post every day all you want to, but if your content isn't really planned out that well, then you're just going to have a bunch of posts on your page and nobody watching, right? And this is why you have to have strategy. And that also means that not every tactic needs to be used at once either, right? Don't build a business you hate, right? Focus on clients and customers you genuinely want to serve. Creating an ideal customer profile saves time, energy, and keeps you and your marketing efforts on track. When you know who you're serving, every decision becomes easier and more effective. So just to elaborate more on this, if I'm a therapist and I just wanted to only, work for women, which I've had a client who was a therapist who only wanted to do women marketing. We tailored everything to that, and that was her ideal customer profile. She wanted to talk to women who are married, and they're going through anxiety. So these are 3 characteristics that we were able to translate not only in her ad copy but in her sales pitch as well, resulting into more people feeling like this is for them. So this is the thing: every business solves a problem, right? And it's important for you to know who needs the solution. And in order to do that, you have an ideal customer profile. And in doing that, we'll be able to know exactly who we are speaking to, which in turn lets you know where they are and how the ad copy or the copy in general should be, right? And this is something that people don't talk about. These agencies aren't going to keep it honest with you guys. You have to know your margins. Understand your customer acquisition costs and your limits before planning out the campaign. A strategy without a budget is just a wish list. Numbers keep your goals realistic and achievable. Knowing your limits help you choose tactics that actually deliver a return on your investment. So like I was saying before, don't just spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on influencer marketing. If you don't know how much you can spend to get one customer, you're kind of SOL here. And this is something that a lot of these marketing agencies don't ever really tell you. You're a losing battle here. So for instance, we had a clothing line that would sell a shirt for, I think it was $25 or $30. Let's just say 30 for easier numbers. $30, but it cost about 12 to make it. So we have like less than, $5 or $8 to get a customer, which is honestly unrealistic in this day and age. So they're running ads and they did everything right by the book, but on their back end, their numbers weren't exactly correct, and we weren't able to give them realistic results. Just for another example, if you were to start you start selling, I don't know, I guess you could start selling shirts. We use that. If you buy a shirt for $10, right, and it costs, another $5 to ship it out, and then you sell the shirt for $20, that only leaves you with $5 to actually get a customer. So this is why knowing your margins is super critical. This is a part of the marketing strategy that most agencies, most marketers, they're not going to tell you about these margins. These numbers are the make or break for your campaigns. That's something that I wish that more people would be more transparent with, but that's a whole other video for another day. So focus on your efforts by focusing on one niche, making your efforts more effective, right? Expand to other audiences once you're proven results in your niche. Avoid being too broad, which dilutes your impact, or too narrow, which limits growth and potential. So you want to tailor to an ideal customer, like we mentioned before, and niche down. That can be, you can niche by, we're only going to serve people in the Houston area, or we're only going to serve people by like gender or location, and anything, or any industry, any subset of people that you only want to serve at first. You want to target in that audience and then expand on it as well. So don't try to go too broad. Always try to find a niche to go into. So once you find that niche, you have to become a marketing detective. Find where your customers are spending their time, how they talk about their problems. Use tools like Google Trends, SEMrush, social media listening to other insights. So go into the comment section, see what people are talking about. Pay attention to language, tone, the keywords audience uses. Observe what the competitors are doing and see what resonates and where the gap is with that. So for instance, let's just say we wanted to get into the beverage space. I wanted to start selling soda. And let's just say, for instance, we want to sell soda for college kids specifically, right? So after we found our niche, which is the college kids, right? We would then go on Reddit, figure out what people like about Coca-Cola, go on Google Trends, see exactly what states love Coca-Cola the most since there are competitors, since we're also selling soda, and also look at their advertisements. You know, Coca-Cola is a big competitor in the landscape. Let's go look at their campaigns from years ago, which ones converted well, or even Pepsi's and things of that nature. So you just have to be able to also understand that your ideas aren't original, which is good. And we can actually use other people's data. They've already spent the ad dollars on things that didn't work for you. So you can leverage that by actually doing some research, market research. It's very important. So fix the right problem. A good strategy starts with solving the right problem for your audience. Sometimes this means revamping your product or service to make its value and purpose crystal clear. When the problem and solution align, every marketing effort becomes more effective. This is very, very important. I want to reiterate this a bit. You do want to make sure that whatever product or service, whatever problem your service or product solves, you want to make sure that's included into your marketing strategy. So let's just say we wanted to just use the beverage, for example. Instead of soda, we're going to do energy drinks, right? That solves a problem, which is helping teenagers or college students get more energy. That's, you know, a product that's not a lot of caffeine in it, so it's healthier and things of that nature. And we're competing against Celsius and things like that. We want to make sure that we have natural ingredients in the ad copy, on the landing page, in our content online, saying, hey, our beverage is the best, right? It's natural, no added sugars. We're actually fixing a problem, which is healthier energy drinks, right? And that's just a random example. And you want to make sure that value is communicated very clearly in your marketing materials and things of that nature. So now this is the part where everyone gets kind of weird. The budget. How much? This is the one thing everybody asks, right? So even a small budget can get things moving. It's like planting the first seed and watching it grow. The strategy works no matter the size of your ad spend, and you just adjust the appropriate fit, right? So you start with one channel at $500. This is my recommendation always. Always $500 in whatever marketing you can. Just you can get that $500. You can kind of finesse things. After you get one channel good, so let's just say you put 500 towards YouTube and is crushing it, then you add a second one at 1,000, and then you try to add another one, and just keep on growing and growing and growing from there, and stack on and stack on and stack on. So just to keep on with the energy drink beverage scenario we have, we're going to start off like we know our niche. We know we're targeting college students. We know we're having, you know, natural flavors in our drink. So we know the problem we're solving, who we're talking to, the value it brings, and how we're going to stand out. And we have a list of competitors. We've already done that, right? So now we're going to put $500 towards Instagram, right? Because research shows that a lot of our competitors spend money on there. And let's just say that $500 went towards, you know, a good campaign, and then it was doing pretty well. And then we can either scale up, let's double our money to $1,000, or we can put that $500 towards a secondary channel to see how things go. Let's just say instead of Instagram, we're going to go on YouTube, right? So now we're spending $1,000 in our budget on 2 different channels. And you can kind of play with it the way you want to, but just know that you can always start small. Like having a budget is very, very important because you do need some type of capital to make materials. Like even besides running paid ads or anything like that, let's just say making flyers, making business cards, all that kind of stuff costs, right? You can't get around it. So even if you have, I recommend $500, even if you have $100 to go towards your marketing materials to just make flyers, and then hey, like that will make a huge difference. But just having that budget is just something that makes things more realistic and practical, and you know exactly how much money you're spending in marketing and how much it's giving you. So now this is where everyone talks about This is the one people are really getting to. Like when people say they want marketing, they're really saying, I want to use the same tactics. But this is after you have all your strategy together, right? So just like you wouldn't use fishing rods to catch birds, you need tactics that fit your goal and your audience. Choosing the right platform makes all the difference. The same offer can perform very differently depending on where it's promoted. Strategy guides your tactics, not the other way around. So match your approach to what exactly works for your audience. So just using the beverage one, I'm actually going to come up with another one. So for instance, all right, let's just say I am selling barbecue grills on the internet and I have a good budget and I want to market and get people to buy, right? Well, a tactic would be using Facebook ads or TikTok to promote it, right? But those are platforms that dads are on because that's what dads use. You want to make sure that your ad is being shown by men who are a little older, who have a family, and all this comes with your marketing strategy. You wouldn't want to sell barbecue grills on a site like Pinterest, for example. Pinterest is predominantly women. Most women don't barbecue as much as men. So having, ads for a barbecue grill on Pinterest might not perform the same as having an ad for, a YouTube ad where men who are searching up barbecue recipes, things like that. It's just about placement, right? That's where a lot of the disconnect comes. People be having these tactics they want to use without mashing it with their product and their service first. And that's where a lot of guys like myself, we come in and we do research on your product. We look at who's already buying and then where they would go, right? Not the other way around. You cannot do that. A person who's selling grills and marketing on Pinterest, they might get some sales, most definitely. But if you're using if you're using the right platforms, a better platform compared to, Pinterest, a platform full of women, then you'd be more successful with the same amount of money, essentially. So once you have your strategy set out, you now have a budget that you're working with. You know which tactics you're going to use, right? Then it's time for a timeline. Know how long you'll run each tactic before reviewing results. Patience is very key. Some tactics are for short-term pushes. Others build your brand over a long term. Treat every campaign like an experiment. Small wins add up. Big growth over time. So timelines are very, very important in the sense of understanding that we want to know when we start from the end of the quarter or end of the month or even end of the week, what our results are looking like. So doing this is because a lot of clients and a lot of people, when they're running ads or they're doing marketing or etc., they get kind of antsy and they don't give time to actually market their product or service, especially when they're not getting instant results. So you have to be patient here. Some tactics are for short-term pushes. So for example, if you were trying to, you might have one event really quick and you need a brand awareness campaign to promote it. Well, that's a short-term push. Whereas if you put money towards an SEO, building, your organic traffic, that's more of a long-term game. That's more of an evergreen thing. In the marketing, we call it evergreen. Evergreen is something that happens year-round, right? You have to also make sure you in the right mindset of treating every campaign like an experiment. It is like science in a lot of ways. And don't ever get discouraged if your campaign is only giving a small win. So if you're running ads on Facebook for your, beauty salon and you're only getting a couple of bookings, well, hey, you still got a couple of bookings. Those bookings matter, right? So here we have tracking, right? This is why it's important to have your analytics set up properly and things of that nature. So platforms don't perform equally. The same campaign can succeed wildly on one channel and flop on another. Tracking data shows where your audience actually responds. Data shapes your strategy. Your tactics should follow proven results, not assumptions. And measuring performance tells you what truly works for your audience and what to adjust. So just like I just mentioned before, having your GA4 set up, having things tracked properly in your CRM, especially when you're running more than one tactic. This is very, very important. So let's just say, for example, I had a client that was running Facebook ads and Google ads for their enrollment. It was a school. You can actually find more about that case study in the description here if you want to look at it. And the Google ads was more performing, was getting more leads than the Meta ads were, right? So even though they had $1,000 per platform, they were doing the same amount of spend, but on Google, they were converting more compared to Facebook. So using that knowledge, we decided to cut some of the Meta spending and put that towards the Google, since that is where they were getting a lower cost per lead with. And if we didn't have things tracked properly, you wouldn't have been able to know that. We would have been in the dark. That's why we always make sure everything is being measured in your campaigns. And the best way to do that is to use Google Analytics. For whatever reason, some audiences tend to perform better on certain platforms, and that's just the way of the land. It's nothing anybody can really do nor predict. You can have a good estimate, but when you're running two tactics at the same time, especially that, please make sure you're tracking everything. So the next steps would be to build it out exactly. So define your strategy, choose exactly which tactics, create it, we launch it, we track everything, and then we optimize to keep the strategy on track. The tactics come last after you clarified your goals and plan your approach. Jumping straight into tactics without a plan can waste time and resources. A clear process ensures every action supports your bigger strategy and drives real results. So this is just simply reiterating how it's important to have things tracked out, have things situated. It's similar to building a house, right? You want to have a foundation, which is the strategy, and the walls and the roof and the tactics and things of that nature. That is the finishing touches, right? You know, just remember that tactics is the last part. We focus on our strategy first, and then we start to figure out exactly how we want things to go, right? Even if you're just expanding on the house analogy a bit here, you know, you need a blueprint to build a house, no matter how big, no matter how small. And then you always start with that foundation. So these are just ways to make you guys realize that it's important to have a plan, which is your marketing strategy first, and then build it out that way, right? It's like people tend to have it backwards. But that's totally fine. That's what we're here for. So launch and share. Think of it like throwing a party. If you don't send invitations, no one will show up. Use both personal and business networks to spread the word and build early momentum. Distribution is part of strategy. How you share a message is just as important as the message itself. Without clear distribution plan, even the best ideas can get lost and never reach the right people. So share locally. Start with your friends. Start with your family. If you have a campaign running, just let them know what's going on. So you never know where that will take you in your business. I had a client that was doing sewing, and she ran a nonprofit. We were running ads for that. She was saying that she was getting people booked into the ads, but she wanted more, local approach. And one of the first things I asked her was, "Hey, are you sharing the event with your friends and your family?" And then she was like, "Well, no, I didn't think anybody would want to show up." And it's something that people tend to overlook. Even myself, I tend to overlook this aspect of it, but just spreading word of mouth is still a big factor in whatever it is that you're doing. And don't ever underestimate that, even if you win or lose. So just to recap, strategy turns scattered efforts into focus, measurable goals. Tactics become powerful only when guided by strategy. Starting with strategy saves time, money, and frustration in the long run. A clear strategy means smart decisions, faster results, and less waste of time and money, of course. Strategy sets you up to win, but only consistent action keeps you in the game. So just to recap, you come up with your marketing strategy first, right? Get a clear vision on where and who you want your product to serve and where you want to be as a business owner in your goals. And then those tactics give you the way there, right? They get you to your goal. They're the bridge, but they're not the destination. Be nice to yourself. This is something I feel like a lot of clients, they get over annoyed and overstimulated, things of that nature. Just remember that marketing is a skill and it's not a one-time task, and it takes practice to really master. You don't need to get everything perfect on day one. Progress matters more than perfection. Small, steady actions add up and will always be big and consistent efforts, right? Over time, those small wins compound and create lasting momentum. So take it easy, man. Relax. I know this is your livelihood for a lot of you. I know this is, your dream and you want to be successful, which we all do, but you also have to remind yourself that, hey, things take time. The market and landscape is always changing. Fortune 500 companies spend millions upon millions of dollars in marketing, and they're still, tweaking things and having a lot of campaign failures. But at the end of the day, they keep on pushing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be solved overnight. And this isn't an overnight thing to do. And every product and every business and every niche is certainly valuable, of course, but they do have their nuances that you have to figure out. And you can only figure that out by actually taking action on the strategy. I really want to iterate how, progress matters more than perfection. A lot of people do that. They want a perfect strategy. I'm not saying don't put any effort into your strategy, which would be contradicting of the whole webinar, right? But just having done the campaign, don't spend too much time planning. Like once you have your strategy and your goals in mind, and you pick the right tactics, and the budget you're going to use, then you have to just go and build immediately. Otherwise, you're going to just procrastinate and slow yourself down, which is something we don't want to do. So just be kind to yourself. Understand that this is a journey. Things are not going to happen overnight, and just to keep on pushing. So kind of touch on this a little bit. There's no magic button. Real results depend on your effort, the market, and the strength of your offer. I can give you the map, but you're the one that has to take the steps and walk the path. A strategy sets you up to win, but only consistent action keeps you in the game. Anyone promising overnight success is selling hype, not reality. Real growth takes time and work. So yeah, the strategy part is super important. Tactics, super important, but you have to keep on making those action steps and put in the efforts to market your business, whether that be, just running a bunch of campaigns here and there, looking at the data. You have to get really in the weeds of the marketing and even the sales side of your company, because, without that, there's no money being made, right? Essentially. But you have to be consistent with that. Not only just delivering the service, but also consistently marketing yourself, getting yourself to the right audience that you're trying to serve, and continuously help solve problems. Because essentially, this is what it's all about: helping people with their problems, right? And the only way to do that is to take action. So we're gonna do a quick Q&A. I got a couple of questions. Let's see. Okay, what's better for my lawn service, Facebook or Google Ads? I would say Google Ads for that one. So the reason why is because you have to remember Google Ads is more lower and more intent people. When you're on Google searching up a problem specifically, you want an answer to it now. You want to solve it now. Whereas if you're scrolling on Facebook and you're looking at, pictures of your friends and your family, you're not necessarily in the mind to find a solution to a problem, right? Especially with local service ads, if your budget's on the lower end, like those are very helpful. I've had a couple clients that weren't lawn service specifically, but we've worked with some plumbers before, and we did see some good results with local service ads. And you pay by the actual lead. So every time you get a lead, that's the only time you'll actually pay, versus with Google Ads, whether you get a lead or not, you're still going to cough up the ad spend. So I would go with Google Ads on that one, but also make sure that your website is up to date and make sure that your sales pipeline is good too. I know this is kind of a little like left field here, but when you have leads and you can't close them, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of times, like business owners, like they get kind of too into the weeds about the wrong thing. So I would just also make sure, your sales is up to date. You have a good sales script and things of that nature. So yeah, most definitely we'll pick Google Ads for a lawn service or any rural home service business. Honestly, you can get a lot of leads on Facebook though. Like don't underestimate that, but it just seems as though from my personal experience that a lot of those leads are either not ready to, hire you, but they'll have you in the back of their mind, which is always good. But with Google Ads, it's like people are trying to fix their problem now. Like if someone's like, yo, I need a lawn service ASAP, I can't do this anymore, they're going to go on Google. They're not going to be on Facebook. How do I stand out? Well, this is a great question because let me tell you something. Standing out is related to marketing and marketing strategy, right? But that's more so on the branding side. You more than likely need to do a brand strategy. I might make a video on that later, but I don't know too much about. I know a lot about brand strategy, but that's going to solve your problem a lot faster than your marketing strategy. Those are two different things. They're actually they're like cousins. Marketing and branding. It's a whole debate in the community. But yeah, if you want to know how to stand out in your market, if you're in a red ocean, which is high competition, especially if you're D2C clothing, oh man, yeah, you have to have a good brand strategy and a good story and make people understand that, hey, this is what we're about. This is how we're different. You have to get creative on how you deliver it too. So just using clothing, for example, like there's this guy who is, I can't think of the name, but he is a clothing brand and he has like, his whole theme is like a bakery and cupcakes, right? And it's weird. It's like he sends the shirts in a little like a cake box, and little things like that is like how you stand out. Like you have to just be a little unorthodox, which is more on the branding side. But on the marketing side, how do you stand out? I would honestly say to just simply tailor everything to your niche. That would be the easiest thing on the marketing aspect of it. So I don't know what business you're running, but if if your product says, hey, I help blank this niche, then you're going to stand out more versus the average person who's running a campaign. It's like, hey, I have blank. So like, just using the energy drink example, hey, I got an energy drink. Well, everybody drinks energy drinks versus, hey, I got an energy drink that's, all natural and we are focused on college students. Then the college students are going to be able to, be more drawn and attracted to what you're selling because what you're selling is speaking to them, right? So how to stand out, just be a little bit unorthodox on how you deliver your services and make sure that, you're reiterating the value to your niche specifically and not just be super broad. That's like the easiest way. Thoughts on starting a Patreon? I think that's more of like a content thing. I don't see the problem with it. It really depends on how often and consistent you're going to be able to like make content or things of that nature. If you're not consistent with making content or any of that, like I wouldn't recommend doing Patreon or any other paywall. The problem with a lot of these communities is that these people who run these communities, they get your money and then they don't consistently add value to it. So I've seen it all the time in the e-commerce space where people would charge, $50 a month, $100, and even sometimes thousands of dollars to join their private Discord just to get in there and only hear from a few people. So if you're going to be providing a community, make sure that you at least like have either yourself or somebody else be community managers, make sure they're answering questions, make sure people are engaging, things of that nature. So it is a whole thing, but it is a good way to make some revenue because, you know, a lot of times like followers aren't going to necessarily pay you. You know, you can have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but having 10,000 paid people on Patreon is going to make you more money every month, more reoccurring. So I understand the need and want to have a Patreon. I think that's a good way to make some income, but I personally believe too that's also something you would do down the road if you're, you know, if you're already like shucking and jiving and you're making some good revenue, then yeah, like most definitely do it. But well, I wouldn't want to start at a Patreon. I don't think, because no one really knows who you are exactly. To get ads on TV, on streaming services. Oh yeah, so to do that, I do have experience with that. You can actually reach out to me for more information on that. But to do TV and streaming, it's kind of I wouldn't recommend it if you're not big, honestly, because you gotta remember like TV ads and streaming ads are just for awareness. That's very, what we say, top of funnel. So I would rather have that money towards something that's gonna make you some more money instead of just, you know. But you know, hey, if I don't know, I think it depends. I hate to be that guy, but we always say it depends on marketing, because it really does. I'm like, well, where are you at? You can reach out to me and we can discuss more. Should we start a Twitch? This is my last question. I make content on social media, but want to expand. Not too sure if it's worth it or not. Yeah. So with Twitch and streaming in general, like that is more bottom of the funnel type of content. If you have a decent following, then most definitely do it. If you're, if you're streaming, though, the reason why streaming is so like super, super popular and people love it so much is because you're getting that one-on-one interaction with the creator or whoever that's making the content that you love, and you get a live interaction with them. If you have a decent following online, then yeah, most definitely I recommend streaming. I would only do it if you're going to be consistent, though. That's something to shuck and jive or mess around with. But yeah, if you're trying to build a loyal audience to whatever product or service you're selling, or if you're just like a content creator in general, like, yeah, like streaming is most definitely a good option. Like secondary, though, I wouldn't make that my priority so soon. In my opinion, though, that's just me. Some people make their living off Twitch, but most people find Twitch users on regular social media. So, like, if you're trying to do Twitch, then I don't know. Like, I think like it's a good thing to make extra content with as well, because you record your Twitch or your streams and you can clip that into content on social media, which is going to give people more reason to follow you, subscribe to you on Twitch and other live. I personally would do all of them, just doing Streamlabs. You can live stream from Twitch and YouTube, things of that nature too. So it's not a bad move for content at all. But yeah, it takes a lot of dedication. I don't recommend it for most businesses unless you're a personal brand. But yeah, so yeah, I hope that answers your question. So yeah, thank you guys for coming to the webinar, for all the love. Appreciate it. If you guys want to reach out, make sure to visit my site at ohwcompany.com or direct email at info@ohw.com. I'm going to leave this up for a couple of minutes to give you guys some time to get the information. And yeah, so talk to you guys soon, and looking forward to the next webinar, which I haven't planned out just yet. So be tuned for that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.